Hey guys, so today we're going to continue on our equivalent fractions section of our book. We are on page 285, and I'm going to work this out with you guys today. So it says the ratio of picnic tables to garbage cans in a new national park should be 8-3. So 8 picnic tables to 3 garbage cans. The park design shows plans for picnic tables in a small campground and a large campground. How many garbage cans should there be in each campground? Okay. So first of all, I want to underline what information we have. So the ratio is picnic tables to garbage cans. And then we have our small campground and our large campground. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our small campground. I'm just going to move it down a little bit. Okay, so for our small campground, we have, of course, our ratio is 8-3. And it says that there needs to be 40 picnic tables in our small campground. Okay, so we're going to make a little table here. I'm going to draw it like this. And then here's the second part. So I'm going to put P for picnic tables here, and then G for garbage cans here. Okay, so there needs, oh, I put 30. Oh, that's funny. Let me erase that. There we go. Okay, so we have to have 8 picnic tables to 3 garbage cans. Okay, so that's our first ratio. We need to get to 40 picnic tables. Okay, so at the end here, we need to get to 40. So what's the next step then if we're going to get to 40? So I'm just going to pull this out. Okay, so if I add 8 here, what is 8 plus 8? 16, so that would be the next set, right? So if I added 8 to get 16, I'm probably going to add 3 down here to get this number, right? 3 plus 3 is 6. So then my question to you is 16 6 an equivalent ratio to 8 3? Yeah, because if we multiply 8 times 2, it's 16, and 3 times 2 is 6. So that works. So we're going to have to add 8 again here. And so 16 plus 8, and we'll have to add 3 again here. So 16 plus 8 would be 24. And then 6 plus 3 is 9. Is that an equivalent ratio? Because if so, then that means 8 times 3 is 24, and 3 times 3 is 9. Or whatever we do to one side, we do the other, just like we learned yesterday. So that works, right? Okay, so then we're going to add 8 again. And add 3 again. So 24 plus 8 is 32. And 9 plus 3 is 12. Okay, and then again, same thing. We add 8, we get 40. Not 8 on the bottom. What happens when my brain just keeps going. Add 3 on the bottom. So 40 and 15, right? Okay, so now we've gotten all the way to 40. So how many garbage cans are they going to need for the small campground? 15. So for the small campground, the answer is 15 garbage cans. Okay. All right, now we're going to do the same thing, but for our large campground. So let me move this down, and we're going to create a table. And we need to get to 120. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, but this one's going to be a lot longer because we have to get all the way to 120. All right, so we have picnic tables to garbage cans, and we can already fill in what we do have already, right? Because we already know 8 and 3, and then we know 16 and 6, and I'm pulling this from our small because the ratio is still the same. So I'm still adding 8 on the top and I'm still adding 3 on the bottom each time, but we already have the work done in our small campground, so I'm just copying that information. So 24, 9, 32, 12, 40, 15. All right, now I'm going to add 8 again to the top because I've now surpassed my small campground, and I'm going to add 3 to the bottom. So that would be 48, and that would be 18. Okay, add 8 more, and we'll add 3 more on the bottom. So 48 plus 8, well, that's supposed to be a plus. 48 plus 8, what do we get? 56. 18 plus 3 is 21. Okay, add 8 to the top and 3 to the bottom. So 56 plus 8 is 64. And then 21 plus 3 is 24. And then add 8 again. 64 plus 8 is 72. And then 24 plus 3 is 27. And add 8 and 3 again. So then we get 80 and 30. And then we get what are we doing here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Huh. Do you guys notice what I'm noticing? Whatever like group it's in, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're multiplying that number by each of them. So 10 times 8 is, and then 10 times 3. So then this next one would be 11. So that would be 88 and 33, right? And then when we multiply by 12, it would be 96 and 36. So what number would I have to multiply to get to 140? That's how many, I'm sorry, not 140, 120. Apologize, 120. I'm trying to get to 120. So could we just divide and then figure that out and then multiply it by 3? So 120 divided by 8. Or do you have a different way of doing it? So 8 will go into 120 one time with 4 left over and 5. So 15. And then we could just do 15 times 3, right? To find out how many garbage cans. So 15 times 8 is 120. So 15 times 3 is, well, 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. So how many large for our large section? This is our large campground. You would need 45 garbage cans. Okay, I know this looks a little messy, I apologize, but you can kind of see where we used what we learned yesterday about multiplying the ratios, right? One side and the second side by the same number to figure out how many garbage cans you're going to need to get to 120 picnic tables by using ratios. Okay, so now that we figured that out, that answer, let's look at the next page here, which it shows different ways to solve this as well. This first model, it shows a number line. You can use a number line, and in kind of in the way that we used our table, it's the same thing. If you think about, this was our table, I'm going to kind of draw it here. This is kind of what our table was, right? We added 8 each time, and we added 3 on the bottom each time, and then we separated it, right? So this was a separation, and now I've kind of created our table. We've had the same numbers, right? Because for 40, we knew that that was also going to be what? So it was 5, it was 15, right? And we added 8 each time, we added 3 each time. So this number line was another way for us to do the table that we did together. And all of these, all of the numbers we put into the table are equivalent fractions. Okay, let's look at the second modelet, which does use a table, but they do it in a different way. So this way they multiply. So each time you're taking 8 and you're timesing it by 2 to get 16, and then you're timesing it by 3 to get 24, and you're timesing it by 4 to get 32, which we kind of already, we talked about that also, because if you think about it, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Each section, right, is numbered. So if you multiply your ratio by that section number, you would get it, because it's the same thing that goes down here. 1 times 3, 1 times 2, 1 times 3, I'm sorry, 3 times 3, and 3 times 4. And then obviously this one would be 3 times 5. And then to get to 120, remember we had to do 15. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, we are skipping this page. So nope, nope, because we've kind of just discussed how the table, how the number line works, and what strategies we've used. So we're just going to cross these out and do some problems, okay? All right, number 1, use what you've learned to solve these problems. Haley makes a necklace with 24 blue beads and 32 purple beads. She wants to make a bracelet that uses the same ratio of blue beads to purple beads. She plans to use 6 blue beads for the bracelet. How many purple beads does Haley use? Okay, so I'm going to underline some important information here. So she makes a necklace that has 24 blue beads, 32 purple beads. She wants to make a bracelet that uses the same ratio of blue beads to purple beads. So 24 to 32 is our ratio here. She plans to use 6 blue beads for the bracelet. So 6 blue beads, that should come first. How many purple beads should Haley use? Well, here, instead of multiplying, we're going to kind of think backwards, and we're going to divide. So 24 divided by what number is going to give us 6? So if you know your fact families, right, you know that there's 2 numbers, something times 6 equals 24. So if you work backwards, 24 divided by 6 is going to equal 4, right? So that means if I divide by 4, I'm going to put my division symbol, divide by 4 on one side of my ratio, I have to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to do 32 divided by 4, and that is going to give me 8, because if I know my fact families, I know that 8 times 4 is 32. So how many purple beads does Haley use? This 8 represents the purple, so B is the answer. Okay, number 8. Kareem says that the ratio 4:1 is equivalent to 12:9 because 4 plus 8 equals 12 and 1 plus 8 equals 9. Is Kareem correct? Explain how you know. Okay, so our original ratio is 4:1. And they're saying, is it equal to 12:9? Well, we know that 4 times 3 is 12, right? But 1 times 3 is not 9. It would be 3. So if we're going to use 12, then the 9 needs to be a 3, right? So is Kareem correct? No. Okay, so how is he not correct? How did he get 9? We clearly got 3, right? So we'll just put that for first, you know. No, the equivalent, sorry, now I'm going to type this out for you guys. I think that'll be a little bit easier to read. Let me put that down real quick. So I'm going to put no, the equivalent ratio is 12:3. So how did he get 9? What do you think he did? Do you think he just did 3 times 3? Yeah, it's very possible, right? But it says that he added 4 plus 8 is 12, and then 1 plus 8. Oh, you know what? I see what he did. So he added whatever he added to the top, he added to the bottom, but he was supposed to add the second ratio to the bottom. You know, so like I'm thinking it as a table. Sorry. Let me show you what I'm thinking. Because I know we have some visual people here. So what I'm thinking is if we had a table here and we started with 4:1, and you know how you add 4, then you get 8. And then if you add 4 again, you get 12. Well, Kareem also added 8 on this bottom row where he should have added 1 each time, but he added 8. So that's where he messed up. Okay, so I'm just going to continue that right here. Nope. Okay, let me go back to my text box, see if that works. Yep, here we go. So he added 8 to the 1 part when he should have added 1. Sorry, that's over my table there. I just wanted to show you guys what I was thinking in my head. Let me erase my table so you guys can see. There we go. Okay. All right, number 9. The table shows that Marta's heart beats 18 times every 15 seconds. Use equivalent ratios, to complete the table. Explain how you found the time in seconds for 180 heartbeats. Okay, so that means on this side we're adding 15 each time because we're starting with 15, right? And on this side we're adding 18 each time. Or we can think of it as this is 1, right? This is 2, this is 3. But we're not sure what this one is yet because, oh, I bet, can you guys figure it out what it is though? Based off of 180 and we're starting with 18. How are we going to get from 18 to 180? By going to 10, because 10 times 18 is 180. But if we keep going, right, so you can do one of 2 ways. You can just add that part of the ratio each time in the table, Or you can multiply it by what section it's in. So section 1, section 2, section 3, and section 10. So we know 1 times 15 is 15, 1 times 18 is 18. 2 times 15 is 30. So what's 2 times 18? That is 36. And then 3 times 15 is 45. So 3 times 18 is 54. I think that's correct. Okay, so if this is 10, what is our time going to be? What's the missing time going to be? 150, yeah, because we're timesing 15 by 10. There we go. And we filled it in. So hopefully that wasn't too hard for you. What you are going to do for independent practice and what you're submitting to me is this page, which is page 289. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 problems for you to do, page 289 and 290. Of course, if you need help, come see me during office hours, and otherwise, I will see you guys soon.